So, I often wanted to make a channel doing something like a hobby, ASMR, or something that I would find like really fun, but something that has held me in a place of limbo, I think, for years is this constant desire to involve my family of origin in my life without accepting fully the ways that they will not ever show up for me, the ways that I would hope for. So I think I'm making a channel as a safe space to just air all of that out. And I used to, in high school, have an Instagram dedicated like this. And in some ways, like looking back, I'm like, well, that wasn't very mature. And I think that's true, that airing out some business can be an immature way. The way that I'm going to share what occurs is really for the purpose of healing, getting it out there. And I feel that people often like to say, like, move on or stop blaming other people for the outcome in your life. And I find it funny because everybody has different perspectives. I'm not blaming a person when I state the ways that I felt wronged, but I also feel like never having people give the space to share your experience without taking it and twisting it into their own perspective and just hearing you for where you're at is also very damaging and hurtful. And I feel that this is true, a lot of people, like when we come onto the internet, it's because there's more comfort found in strangers that are willing to listen without bias than you can find in your own family or in your own friend group. So I am gonna have to like kind of maybe set up an actual way of structure and everything. I haven't quite done yet, but for starters, what motivated me today to make this channel is yesterday was Mother's Day. I decided because with my first pregnancy, I had told my dad, I told my father when I was first pregnant at 20 years old. He let me know he would tell my mom if I didn't tell her, but I have never felt that type of trust and instinct to talk to my mom. And I don't really think it was appropriately displayed on how to have emotionally convey anything really in a healthy way. But so I had told my dad first. He's always had like a calm, nonchalant response, or he's very logic based, so he just takes things factually, whereas my mom, she almost reacts that my life, what's happening in my life, is happening to her regardless how much distance we have or how much I don't rely on them for assistance with any kind of way. But the first pregnancy, she made a group chat and shared the news with all of my siblings. So yesterday was Mother's Day. There was a Zoom call with my family there and my siblings. And I decided to share the news that I'm pregnant. Because I chose to do it that way. Because I wanted to be able to be the one to share it personally in real time, so it wouldn't be on this gossip chain out of my hands. Immediately, I wasn't expecting a overjoyed response or reaction from anyone. But immediately, my mom shifts into her type of like downgrading or degrading degrading like tone, and was like, who's the baby dad and that. And I said, and just started asking me questions. And I can understand from the mother's point of view being a little bit hurt when your child doesn't share things, but you also have to understand the context of you as a mother for what leads a child to feel safe in talking with you. So anyway, that was that was fine. She called me later. Well, it wasn't really fine because the way that she was asking me questions to get information was not okay. But she had called me later and just kind of like, you know, had gathered information from somebody else, probably a sister, because I haven't spoken openly too much about my personal life. My family's not currently in the area, so what I choose to share, it's also a privilege. Like, if I choose to be open about something, that's because I want and seek the involvement and support. But I have to be honest to myself when opening the doors that a lot of times that brings more pain than it does bringing actual support of any sort. As many times as I've tried to have my family involved in my life. So, you know, I had a whole conversation with my mom, asking prodding questions for whatever her reasoning. But what really hurt me, and another thing, it's fine to ask someone, you know, have you considered adoption? But I was very hurt because my sibling called me, and that's somebody that I have my guard down more with. So with my mom, I always have a little bit of a guard up anyhow. With what she's gonna say, I'm like mentally prepared to have to maybe disassociate or just like literally say a prayer while I'm in conversation. But my sibling, I had put my guard down because it's somebody who, overall, they're an educator and they're somebody I always appreciated the opinion of. So I believe they took the time to call me asking if I'd consider adoption as a way to share their opinion of their observations of my life and my parenting. It was very hurtful because as a mom, I actually know I will never claim that I am a perfect mother, but I've done quite a decent job, being that I had my daughter at 20 years old and you know, just pretty much not, again, nobody in the local area available for providing assistance. So I figured out a lot of things. There are ways in which my family did support me that I will give credit where credit's due, in terms of, you know, bringing up things that I wasn't always, I've never been the best with following routine. Things that children need. They need like routines and these things. But it was just like incredibly hurtful because to me, I took it that you chose to take the day and on Mother's Day. So anyway, I spent most of Mother's Day crying because I was just like a little bit shocked at that type of like response where it's like them kind of pointing to their observation that they don't feel I've grown and I'm not in a good position to hold and raise a child in a healthy manner. But my thing is, if you are in no way providing support, providing assistance, or even just being a regular part of somebody's life, should you really feel so liberated to, you know, have your opinion of the situation? These are people that I don't rely on day to day. I don't talk to them day to day. They don't assist me financially. They don't assist me with childcare. And it's also the child I'm having now is with a different father than my first child. It always shocks me a little bit that my ex's family seemed more like supportive than my family. It shocks me because I'm having a child with a different man. And I don't know, those kinds of things putting in parallel, it's just like, you know, it just becomes a wake-up call to saying like, well, I'm 25 now. I can't honestly, I can't cry anymore. I have a headache. And again, I'm pregnant. You do not upset. I don't know. I think this year is all about me strengthening boundaries and just cutting ties where I need to. So that's why I decided to make this video. Okay, 1 second. To talk and honestly people can comment and share. I know that I haven't come from the worst family. I love my family. And I also know that I do not want to continue to make excuses. And I don't have the energy used to actually write and journal every day. But there's other ways of reflecting, which might just be me talking to a camera and sharing and uploading and hearing people's other ideas or relatable experiences. Like different reactions to sharing that you're pregnant with an unsupportive family. But it's especially interesting to have certain reactions from people that aren't really, it doesn't particularly, besides the blood tie, has no actual impact on their life. Maybe they feign their concern, but from where I'm sitting, I will always make sure my children are well provided for, cared for, loved, educated, and do everything I need to in my role as a mother. So to have such strong opinions when you're in no way assisting the growth of my children or really myself is ludicrous. But happy Mother's Day, and well, that was in the past, but it doesn't matter. Every day is Mother's Day because you're a mom every day if you are a mom. And especially to people that don't have the support and they kind of just, it's crazy that I'm kind of lumping myself in with that group, but it is what it is. I think I was under a veil of always thinking and wanting that, oh, I do have support, like if I really needed it, like feeling like I put myself at a distance. But it's not really like it was just out of free will, like to choose to separate. I think I did that because I had to. And every time I try to lower my guard, I realize why I did that. And I have to accept that actually, as much as my family can fake that, that they're like still involved or whatever, it's truly not beneficial to continue to play into that narrative. And I have to accept it for what it is. And I do. And I think that I have more peace when I do. So, see you next time.